Hey guys, Thunder E here, and welcome to my review of the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. Yes, this is the Alpha. We heard this announcement way back, and it's finally here in the US on AT&T. So you can pick up the Alpha on AT&T for $199, but it's best to pick it up from either Amazon or I believe Best Buy for $150. It's much cheaper there. And this device really falls in that price range for me. Now, if you checked out our Hangout video this past weekend, I put the Alpha at that price range, and I said, yes, it's something that falls in that price for me in terms of what it brings to the table. Now, what's so special about the Alpha and why do I like it? Well, Samsung has really done something pretty refreshing here with their design. Now, a lot of people have, chimed on in the past about Samsung using a lot of plastics, and I like the fact that they use plastic. But what I do like with the Alpha is that it's taking that nice blend of plastic and aluminum, something we've seen from Nokia, but making it a very thin profile here, so you can see how thin this thing is. So if you just pan around the device, you can see at the back it's got a 12 megapixel camera. Now with that 12 megapixel camera, you do have a heart rate monitor in there. So you see a lot of things from the S5 on the Alpha here. Heart rate monitor in there. It is running an Exynos 5 octa-core processor. This is actually Samsung's own processor in here with 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now, if you open up the back cover, you will find, of course, it sports an 1860 milliamp battery, which is nice. And actually, with the power saving mode, gives you a lot of actually solid battery life there. You don't have expandable storage on this device. That's a trade-off you do have with it. You do have 32 gigabytes of internal storage with the Alpha. And besides that, it's also running a nano SIM, which is also first for Samsung here in the US, at least in terms of SIM cards. In terms of hold and fit, now I do like larger devices. So for me, the Alpha is a bit small, but what the Alpha really brings to the table is what I would love to see in future Samsung devices. We know the Note 4 will have a very similar build to the Alpha, and we hope to see that continue with the Galaxy S6 or whatever device to come up at that point. But I do like the feel of this device. Again, it's not my preference in terms of size, but the 4.7 inch size of this device feels very comfortable. And Samsung really released this to compete against the iPhone 6. It brings something comparable in size there. Now, the screen itself is a 4.7 inch 720p display, PPI of 312. And you will notice, of course, that down resolution. We're used to 1080p screens on most Android devices, even the S5, and even last year's HTC One M7 had, which was 4.7 inches, had a 1080p display. So it was interesting to see that that's not there on the Alpha. The Alpha also sports a fingerprint scanner there, which of course you can use for different applications, especially like PayPal and stuff like that. And it's just a very solid device. It feels very comfortable and easy to hold. Now, like I said, it sports a 12 megapixel camera that shoots at 4K. And I wanted to show you some samples from that. So that's why this video is recorded in 4K, to show you samples of what the camera actually does in terms of performance at 4K resolution. So check out the video, check out the photos. I'm just gonna keep quiet. You can judge for yourself, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that and round up the review. So we've seen the video from the Alpha, and we've seen how the Alpha performs at 4K. It does a very good job. Even though it's a 12 megapixel sensor, it looks like the sensor is much larger. If you want to see some more in-depth thoughts on that sensor, definitely check out some Gadget Guy's camera review of the Alpha. But I like the photos it took with the Alpha. Reds, of course, is still oversaturated, and so it's, you can see how the reds look like there. But in terms of video performance and also just photo performance, it does a very, very good job. So I like what they've done with the Alpha, and I'd love to see that continue as we move on to that higher pixel camera, the Note 4, which also has a OIS built into it. So overall, the Alpha is really solid. What you have here is a device that, if you get it at $150, it is well priced and well positioned. If you're looking for something that is similar to the iPhone 6 in terms of size, but also performance on an Android device, I think this is the device you're probably looking for, because the Alpha comes with a solid battery life. With the 1860 milliamp battery, I was able to get literally a day of battery life on power save mode, of course. So make sure you have that on. But it takes some really good photos, solid video at 4K. You do have a very nice, solid premium build altogether. You've got enough storage, 32 gigabytes of storage in here, and it's available in AT&T. So if you guys have any questions or any comments about the Samsung Galaxy Alpha, let us know. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and favorite this video, and do subscribe to the channel. This is Thunder E saying thank you, and always enjoy entertainment.